Hello everybody and welcome back to Life Stories. My name is Trent and I hope you're doing awesome as always during these crazy times. Today we got more stories coming at you from Reddit/entitledparents, and specifically, more than just stories, we got a sequel to one I read in a previous episode. So without further ado, our first story is titled, "Be Roommates with My Son and Give Him Your Games and Food. Update." Hey people of Reddit, my cousins gave me a recent update about the entitled mom and her entitled son that's been harassing them during the school year. If you haven't read my first post, stop and read the first one so you can understand the setting. So, my cousins, their roommate, and the entitled kid's roommate were going on vacation for President's Day weekend. Entitled mom demanded that her son be allowed to vacation to New York City with them. This was on Entitled People, but my cousin said I should just post it here and share the love. So, Entitled Kid's roommate's parents live in New York City around 5th Avenue. For those of you who don't know, 5th Avenue is some of the most expensive real estate in the city. Entitled Kid's roommate's parents were allowing my cousins and their roommates to stay in New York for free, with meals included, because they were friends of Entitled Kid's roommate. All my cousins had to do was drive there, which is around 3 hours. As Entitled Kid has been harassing my cousins, their roommate, and his own roommate all semester, he overheard the situation and he demanded to go. When his attempts to go fails, he then calls his mom, who drives from another state to demand the gang take her son and vacation with them. Meet everybody. OC, older cousin. LC, little cousin. RM, roommate. EM, entitled mom, EK, entitled kid, SC, security captain, D, the dean, and EKRM, entitled kid's roommate. So, in February, on the 20th, my cousins, their roommate, and entitled kid's roommate are talking to little cousin and the rest of the gang to try and get a game plan together for the New York trip. Entitled Kid hears Entitled Kid's roommate's phone call about planning the trip, and then it goes as follows. Hey, where are you going? Home to New York with the guys. Why? Can I come too, please? I think not. Why not? I don't want you at my house or around my family. Entitled Kid gets pissed and starts getting upset at Entitled Kid's roommate, then goes to the room to hang with my cousins and their roommate. Entitled Kid then follows. The door is shut in his face. Let me in! Everyone tells him to go away, and they proceed to plan for the vacation. Entitled Kid then proceeds to say, "Let me in, or I'll get my mom." Everyone knows that his mom lives another state away. So everyone was like, "Go, get her then." The gang proceeded to plan the New York trip, with Entitled Kid begging to be let in. This proceeded for 3 hours, and then his mom came. She drove from the state over. She knocked on the door, they opened it, and it went like this. Just so you know, my older cousin didn't remember who Entitled Mom was at first, because it had been a month since he last saw her. But her behavior soon jogged his memory. Around this time, everyone was preparing to leave, as they had made all the final preparations. Hello? Can I help you? Yes, my son says you won't let him go to New York with you guys. Why won't you? Older cousin has this "why me" look on his face and says, "I'm sure you remember our last conversation. Me, my roommate, and brother want nothing to do with your son. The place we're staying is Entitled Kid's roommate's house, and he has expressed that he doesn't want him to come." Entitled Mom and Kid look pissed, and she says that she can pay for her son to go if that's the problem. Then, little cousin gets involved. "Look, it doesn't matter that you can pay for him to go. We just don't want him to go." "He is going. Don't you know who I am? How dare you speak to me that way? My son will be going with you on this trip, and that's that." Then, Entitled Kid's roommate gets involved. "Hey, I don't want your kid at my house. Seriously. He's been bothering me all semester and has made things harder for me. I sure as hell don't want him near my family or my home." Entitled Kid butts in with his attitude. "Oh my god, why do you have to be so mean? You spent all your time here and never invite me. You have to let me come over to make it up to me." "No, I don't. It's my house." Then, Entitled Kid starts wailing and demands his mom lets him go to New York with them. Older cousin, with an annoyed and sarcastic voice, says, Well, nice seeing you again. Bye. The gang proceeds to lock up the room and bring the luggage down to the car. Everyone goes on one last bathroom break before going on the road. However, little cousin didn't lock the car. For those of you that know, Fords have a keypad on the driver door to lock and unlock the car. Little cousin didn't press the buttons right, and the car didn't lock. When the gang came back to the car, entitled kid was in the back seat with his headphones on, with his mom waving as she drives away. It goes as follows. "Hey, come back! Have fun in New York," EM said. The gang realizes that her kid has just been dumped on them and that they're stuck. Little cousin says that we should call security, so older cousin does. They explain on the phone that entitled mom dumped her kid on them and that we're bringing him over because he's not their responsibility. Entitled kid takes off his headphones and says, "Come on already, get this crap box," aka a 94 Crown Victoria, "in gear." Now, the security office is around half a mile from the dorms, so for a while, entitled kid had this look on his face like he had won. When the gang pulls up to the security office, his smirk disappears, as both the captain of the school and the dean were there. The captain says, "You want to explain what you're doing in older cousin's car?" Entitled kid is sweating bullets and nervously says, "I'm going on vacation. My mom said I could." The captain then says to the gang, "Is this true?" Everyone at the same time, "No! His mom just demanded that we let him go. She put him in and drove off." The captain then orders entitled kid out of the car. Entitled kid then asks for older cousin to pop the trunk so he can get his bag out. Everyone just has this "you gotta be kidding" look. When he said that, the dean, who I'm told is a very kind old man, gave the entitled kid a very firm talking to. It went like this. "In my 35 years, I've never had to deal with a more petulant child than you. I was light on your punishment the first time. That won't be the case this time. Your behavior is unacceptable. You have put me in an impossible position." The dean and the captain take entitled kid away, and he was severely punished. He was put on probation, so that meant he couldn't participate in sport or other events. He was given 20 days detention doing landscaping, and he had a security guard personally escort him to and from his classes. All in all, the gang had a pretty good vacation. Entitled mom did call entitled kid's roommate's phone to lay into everybody. She was quickly blocked, and the gang hasn't heard from her since. And with that out of the way, we got some good news. It's not over. We have a threequel. There is a third installment, but that will be for another episode. Moving along, our next story is titled, "Send Them to Boarding School. That's the only way they'll become men." Second post here, long one and on the phone, so bear with. So let me start by saying this story is about my granddad. I love my granddad, and he's in no way entitled, except for this one occasion. To start, I'll give some context on his life. Granddad was born in the later years of World War II. His father, my great-granddad, served. As a result, he wasn't home when Granddad was born. Granddad didn't properly meet his father until he was about 4, in the middle of the night and while looking down at him from the landing. I don't know how good of a parent my great-granddad was, but all I know is that Granddad moved out as soon as he could join the army, like his father. This lack of parenting did translate slightly to his own children, my aunt and my father. Both were sent to boarding school at a young age. I think it was because my granddad didn't have the best upbringing and therefore didn't know how to raise his own children. My dad doesn't mention his past much, but he joined the army at the first chance he got. It was because of the army he got to know my mom. The British Army was a big part of my family for generations. My dad is a brilliant parent, often taking long jobs and time away from home to provide for us, showing he was a better parent than his father. Then there was me and my little brother. I'm the oldest grandchild my granddad has, and with my brother being 2 years younger. My cousin is much younger. I never wanted to be a part of the army. I was never sporty. I played way too many video games and love cartoons, not what my granddad, or even my dad, considered being a man. On many occasions, my grandparents would have to look after me and my bro for long periods of time. They would usually leave us in front of a TV, let us do what we want, and give us food when they got ready to eat. We could do what we wanted and thought that it was brilliant, but it's not really parenting, as I've come to understand. Now, on to the story. Dad was away for a few weeks. Mom was with us at my grandparents' house. We went to bed on the first night, expecting to be there a few days. Mom told us the next morning that we'd be leaving before lunch. I was confused, but went with it. Apparently, Granddad had insisted that Mom send my brother and I to boarding schools, saying that it was the only way we could become men. She had got upset and called Dad, who told her that if she was upset, to just leave early and that he'd deal with Granddad. I was heartbroken. Granddad has apparently done this before, and only when Mom was without Dad. I was upset and have never really seen Granddad in the same light ever again. We have never spoken about it and just avoided the subject. Now for his redemption. A long time after that, my aunt and uncle met with my family at my grandparents' house and chose to go to London for the day. Granddad saw how I behaved and looked after my cousin. Mom later told me that he apologized for his previous actions and had seen that I was becoming a man in my own way. Different from what he was used to, but something that he was proud of, and that's it. That is one of the most wholesome endings ever. We need more like that. That warms my heart. And with that ooey gooey conclusion out of the way, it's all the time we have for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for tuning into Life Stories, and I hope you're all doing well and staying safe in these crazy times. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content we got coming your way so you guys don't get bored while hopefully isolating at home, and I hope to see you guys soon.